Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Gibran Wahid and I am serving as an IT assistant at Government College of Technology for Women, Lahore. And I am the trainee at Rehan AI Teacher Institute Level 1 and Batch 1. You are watching my Facebook and YouTube channel. Today, I want to discuss and review a very interesting and highly practical TEDx talk titled Learning How to Learn by Dr. Barbara Oakley. This is not simply a talk about studying for exams. It is a talk about something much bigger. How does our brain actually learn? And more importantly, can we become a better learner by changing the way we learn? After watching Barbara Oakley's talk, my biggest takeaway is this: being good at learning is not necessarily about being naturally intelligent. It is about understanding how learning work and developing the right habit. That message is extremely important for students, teachers, professionals, and honestly for anyone who wants to keep growing throughout life. Uh, Before discussing the main ideas, let's understand why Barbara Oakley's personal story makes this talk so powerful. Dr. Barbara Oakley is an engineering professor and educator, but interestingly, she did not begin her journey as someone who was naturally comfortable with mathematics and science. According to the TEDx description, she struggled with mathematics and science during high school. She later joined the US Army and eventually returned to education with a determination to master the subjects that had previously been difficult for her. Eventually, she became an engineer and professor, and that personal journey gives her message a lot of uh, credibility. Her story tells something important. Uh, your current ability is not necessarily the limit of your future ability. Maybe you are not good at mathematics today. Maybe you are a struggle without programming. Maybe you struggle without programming. Maybe you find English difficult. Maybe you cannot concentrate for long periods. That does not automatically mean that you cannot learn these things. Sometimes the problem is not our ability. The problem may be our learning strategy. One of the most inspiring ideas behind Oakley's work is that people often develop beliefs about themselves. For example, I'm not a math person. I'm bad at science. I have a poor memory. I cannot learn technology. I'm too old to learn something new. But these statements can become mental barriers. When we repeatedly tell ourselves that we cannot learn something, we may stop putting effort into learning it. Oakley's own experience challenges this idea. She struggled with mathematics, yet later become an engineering professor. So the lesson for me is never confuse difficulty with inability. Something being difficult today does not mean it will always be difficult. Learning is a process, and improvement comes from practice, persistence, and using effective strategies. One of the most interesting concepts connected with Oakley's explanation of learning is that our brains can approach problems in different ways. The first is what we can call focus thinking. When we are in focus mode, we concentrate intensely on a specific task. For example, imagine you are learning Python programming. you sit at your computer and concentrate on understanding a particular function. You are deliberately focusing your attention on the problem. But sometimes, one after thinking about a problem for a long time, you cannot solve it, and then something interesting happens. You leave your computer, you go for a walk, you take a shower, you sleep, and suddenly the answer comes to you. Why? Because stepping away from the problem can allow your brain to make different connections. This is the idea behind diffuse thinking. The important lesson is that learning does not always happen when we are sitting directly in front of our books. Sometimes our brains continue processing ideas when we relax and step away. So if you are stuck on a difficult problem, don't always assume that working harder means starting at it continuously. Sometimes focus, step away, relax, return. The cycle can be much more productive. Another important idea is chunking. What does chunking mean? Simply put, it means taking complicated information and organizing it into meaningful pieces. Think about learning a new language. At first, you may have hundreds or thousands of unfamiliar words, uh, unfamiliar words that can feel overwhelming, but eventually you being recognize some common phrases. Instead of processing everything individual words separately, your brain start recognizing a complete pattern. That pattern becomes a chunk. The same thing happens in mathematics, programming, music, sports, and almost every other skill. For example, an experienced programmer does not necessarily think about every individual symbol in a program. They recognize pattern. An experienced teacher recognizes classroom pattern. An experienced driver recognizes road situation. An experienced musician recognizes musical structures. This is one reason experts can appear incredibly fast. They have built many mental chunks through practice. So when learning something difficult, uh, don't try to memorize everything randomly. Instead, ask what are the important patterns. How can I divide this complicated subject into smaller, meaningful pieces? Now, uh, we come to one of the most important lessons for students. Sometimes we feel that we are learning when we are actually only becoming familiar with the material. Imagine you read the same chapter 5 times. After reading it repeatedly, the words look familiar. You think, I know this chapter, but then the teacher gives you a test, and suddenly you cannot remember the answer. This is what we can describe as the illusion of competence or learning. The material feels familiar, but familiarity is not the same thing as understanding. So, what should we do? Instead of only rereading, we should actively test ourselves. Close the book, put away the notes, and ask yourself, what did I just learn? Can I explain it? Can I solve a problem? Can I teach it to another person? Can I answer question without looking at the material? That is much closer to real learning. Uh, this leads us to another powerful techniques, active recall. Instead of simply looking at information, force your brain to uh, retrieve it. For example, after studying a topic, uh, close your notebook and ask. What are the three most important things I learned? Then try to explain them from memory. This simple process makes learning more active, and this is particularly useful for students preparing for examinations. Don't spend all your study time reading. Spend some time retrieving, practice questions, quizzes, flashcards, explaining concepts, solving problems, teaching someone else. These activities require your brain to retrieve information instead of simply recognizing it. Another part of Oakley's learning framework that I really appreciate is the connection between learning and procrastination. We often say, I'm lazy, but sometimes procrastination is not simply laziness. We may procrastinate because a task feels uncomfortable, difficult, boring, or overwhelming. For example, I need to study mathematics for 3 hours. That sounds exhausting. So we open Facebook, we check Instagram, we watch YouTube, we check WhatsApp. Suddenly, 1 hour disappears. So, what can we do? Break the task into smaller periods. One popular technique is the Pomodoro technique. For example, work with full concentration for about 25 minutes, then take a short break, then repeat. The goal is to make the starting point easier. Instead of telling yourself, I have to study for 5 hours, tell yourself, I'm going to focus for the next 25 minutes. That feels much more manageable. The official descriptions of Oakley's learning approach also highlight the Pomodoro technique as a practical strategy for dealing with procrastination. Sleep is the part of learning. Here is another lesson that students sometimes ignore. Sleep is not the enemy of learning. Sometimes some students believe that studying all night before an examination is the best strategy. But learning is not simply about the number of hours you spend looking at book. Our brains need time to process and consolidate information. That means rest is part of the learning process. So, if you study something difficult and then get adequate sleep, your brains get an opportunity to process what you learn. This uh, give us a very practical message. Uh, don't sacrifice everything, including sleep, in the name of studying. Smart learning is about quality, not simply quantity. My review of the talk is that so what do I think about Barbara Oakley's TEDx talk? For me, the greatest strength of this talk is that it makes learning feel possible. It does not tell us that successful learners are people who have magical brains. Instead, it emphasizes practical mental tool and strategies. And I particularly appreciate the connection between neuroscience, personal experience, and everyday learning. The talk also changed the way we think about failure. If you struggle with something, uh, that struggle does not necessarily prove that you are incapable. It may simply means that your brain is still developing and necessary connection and pattern. That is much more encouraging way to look at education. If I were a student applying Barbara Oakley's idea, I would follow these steps. Step one, start with focus study. Choose one topic and remove distraction. Give it your full attention. Step two, break the topic into chunks. Uh, don't try to understand everything at once. Divide the subjects into smaller concepts. Step number three, Practice active recall. Close your book and your uh, close your book and uh, uh, test yourself. Ask questions. Solve problems. Explain the concepts. Number four, take short breaks. Don't force your brain to concentrate indefinitely. Use structure breaks. Step five, return to difficult concepts. If something does not make sense, don't give up. Approach it again from a different angle. Step six, give your brain time. Sleep and rest are part of learning. Step seven, repeat and connect. Return to previously learned material and connect it with new knowledge. This transform isolated facts into a stronger mental network. Uh, I had to summarize the entire talk into these lessons. They would be these. Uh, Number one, you can learn difficult things. Don't label yourself permanently. Your current ability is not your final ability. Number two, learn strategically. Use focus attention, breaks chunking, active recall, practice and reflection. Don't confuse spending more time with learning more effectively. Number three, don't let procrastination control you. Start small, work for a manageable period, take a break, then continue. Progress is built throughout consistent action. Final reflection, after watching Learning How to Learn by Barbara Oakley, I come away with a simple but powerful ideas. Learning itself is a skill, and like any other skill, it can be improved. We don't have to be a perfect learner. We don't have to understand everything immediately. We don't have to be naturally gifted. We simply need to understand how your minds work and develop better learning habits. So the next time you say, I'm not good at this, try changing that sentence. Say, I'm not good at this yet. That small word yet can completely change the way we approach learning, because education is not only about collecting information. It is about developing the ability to continuously learn, adapt, solve problem, and grow. And perhaps that is the most important lesson of all. Don't just learn a subject, learn how to learn. I hope you found this review useful, and that Barbara Oakley's ideas inspire you to rethink the way you study, teach, and develop new skills. If you enjoyed this session, please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Also, let me know in the comments what is one learning habit you want to improve. Is it concentration, time management, procrastination, memory, or perhaps learning a completely new skill? Thank you very much for watching. Keep learning, keep experimenting, keep improving, and remember, the ability to learn is one of the most powerful skills we can develop. Allah Hafiz.